Morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. As we look at the signs of the times and the end times, we think to previous examples in the Bible where God brought judgment on nations and cities for their sin. And in this case, we're specifically talking about sexual sin. And I'm thinking about Sodom and Gomorrah, why they were destroyed for their sexual sin that they never repented of. And I think this particular article, this is from thecommonsenseshow.com, and a follow-up, I'm not sure what URL that's coming from, but it's about homosexuality and then general sexual sin, pedophilia, etc. These are going to expand. Unfortunately, we're going to see an increase in these sorts of stories, and we're going to see a general acceptance of these sorts of things. And this will become commonplace, and people will think, well, everybody has the right to, feel whatever way they want. Everybody has the right to be a pedophile if they want. Everybody has a right to express their sexuality in any way they want, because ultimately, if you get rid of absolute truth of the Word of God, if you get rid of the Bible, then who are you to say that someone else's idea of truth, of self-expression, is incorrect? Who are you to say that they are incorrect? And that's exactly what they'll say. It'll be politically incorrect to say that there is any truth, to say that there is right and wrong, because then you'll be discriminatory. You'll be discriminating against other people and what they feel is right for them. And that's the whole problem with the LGBT situation as well. Locals say nudist event that encourages children to attend is like Christmas for pedophiles. Local Calgarians are expressing deep concern about an upcoming event at a public recreation center in Calgary, Canada, where individuals both young and old will be swimming in the nude together at a naked swim day that many feel has overtones of encouraging pedophilia. And absolutely, I would think so. This is just wrong. There's a reason why God gave Adam and Eve clothes in the Garden of Eden. He instituted that. He put that on them for a particular reason. The group Calgary Nude Recreation decided to rent out the Southland Leisure Centre for a nudist experience to be held on January 14th, at which children under age of 18 are being encouraged to attend. Interesting. The Naked Swim Day will be staffed by government employees. I guess the government's not sponsoring this, but certainly condoning it by staffing it. And it's being dubbed as a family-oriented and kin-friendly event that's open to people of all ages, body types, all genders, sexual orientations, of course, and anyone else between. Under the Y section of the Calgary Nude Recreation's meetup page, the group explains, because being naked is awesome. Meetups are not a place to show off your body to others, compare or stare, but rather a place that you can enjoy being naked in your raw self-expression in a safe and welcoming, non-judgmental way. We as a society are inundated with so much false ideas about the body that we can easily become lost in self-criticism, judgment, and insecurities. It goes on. Everyone who attends a Naked Swim Day will be required to be naked, including women, who are being told that they have to be topless at minimum. Children will also have to be naked, as their portion of the event will apparently take place at the naked water slides and wave pool. So there you go. And again, I think it's Sodom and Gomorrah. I think it's people putting out their idea and going with their idea of what they think is right and correct. And I think this just moves forward the normalization of, pedophilia. It encourages that. It encourages, quote, sexual self-expression, if you will. And I think it completely foreshadows a Sodom and Gomorrah type situation. And we know that often when cities are destroyed, often there's some kind of sexual sin that's occurring there. Sexual sin seems to be, in the Bible, very much a red line for God when he says, okay, that's enough. I'm going to come and deal with it. Now, this is from neonatal.com. U.S. teachers replace American flags with LGBT rainbows in the classrooms. And this is one my U.S. watchers and listeners will be interested in. Teachers at Banks High School in Oregon have caused outage amongst cause outrage, I think is supposed to be, amongst parents after they replaced American flags with LGBT flags in their classrooms. One pupil's parents expressed her shock to a local radio station when the American flags were replaced by pride flags without the consent of parents or pupils. This is the normalization of homosexuality. This is the normalization of sexual perversion, and it's not overstating it to say that. I think this sexual perversion, sexual sin is common in the Bible, and it's also commonly a red line for God when he decides to finally bring judgment on civilizations, on peoples, on groups. And obviously the most common one is Sodom and Gomorrah. I think this is all part of the plan. This is all part of this is not a slippery slope. We're already halfway down the slope. This isn't the beginning of the slippery slope, I should say. This is not the thin edge of the wedge. We're well down the path with gay marriage acceptable and legal by law now. This is fully condoned by civilization, by the laws of the land, etc. And this is only going to get worse. So you know what? Honestly, start looking for the normalization of bestiality. That's really the next thing. Complete normalization of pedophilia, because that's going to be the person's right to self-express their, sexual desire or whatever, their sexual self. That's going to be commonplace, and that's going to be accepted, because again, if you get rid of absolute truth, who is there to say that these people can't think the way they do? You have no right to. You're discriminating against someone if you think they are incorrect in their views and opinions. If the Bible is not true, if there is no absolute truth, if there is no Creator God who has set down some rules. So, unfortunately, this is kind of expected, and we're going to keep going down this slippery slope, this hill. We're going to keep going down this path. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until God finally says, "That's it." The sin, the cup of wrath is full, and it's ready to be poured out. God allows nations, it seems, to continue in sin to a certain point, to where they are completely moved over to that, completely enveloped in their own lust, so that there's no question anymore whether they deserve punishment, whether they deserve wrath or not. And that's when he comes in. And the movement of us into this situation, I think, in this day and time, I think underscores the fact that we are in the last days, and we don't have a lot of time left. This is going to accelerate rapidly. I don't think it's not going to take 10 years for this to move from openly allowing and not discriminating against pedophilia, and also to bestiality. Because again, if there's no absolute truth, who are you to discriminate against the person who wants to express their sexual desires as it relates to bestiality and any other sexual perversion? This is what's coming, and the Bible has examples of the result of these sorts of things on society, and then also as it relates to how judgment comes upon nations and peoples, and how God deals with it, and specifically the sexual sin in general is often a hard and fast red line for God. Once it's in place and been happening, that's when God brings wrath, and I think it's coming soon. It's a sad time, honestly, in one way to be alive, seeing and knowing that these things are coming to pass and that these things are happening in our world. On the other hand, it's good to know that the Lord's returning soon, and these are the signs of the end times.